Hello there, and welcome to Geek Speak. My name is Nath, and I'm currently jumping headfirst off a skyscraper in order to chase a man in a bird costume across the skyline of New York. Now, obviously, this is in the excellent Marvel Spider-Man on PlayStation 5, as my survival odds of trying this outside of gaming are significantly reduced to 0. Gaming is wish fulfillment and fantasy simulation in a safe, controlled environment that in my case usually involves a comfy chair, a pot of Lady Grey tea and my sexy grandad slippers while grasping my DualSense controller from the comfort of my home. It is through the medium of video games that we non-superhumans can experience things that would either be impossible or otherwise socially taboo. So with that in mind and my sexy grandad slippers in place, here are 7 things that gaming lets us get away with that we can't do IRL. Speaking as a man in the middle of his 30s, I am grateful that unlike every gaming protagonist out there, I don't have to run full pelt to every place I go in life. Unlike Kiryu here, I don't have infinite stamina that allows me to run about the city at breakneck pace while fending off attacks from the gangs of Kyoto. No, I, a mere mortal, like to amble about the world at a much more relaxed pace, going from A to B in what some would describe as a leisurely waddle, punctuated with occasional coffee shop breaks involving a pastry. The world of gaming would of course be dead boring if we wandered around at a more realistic speed. I mean, can you imagine walking across the bustling metropolis in, say, Grand Theft Auto 5? Or instead of web-slinging through the Big Apple in Marvel Spider-Man, shuffling along as a pedestrian, stopping at every street crossing and checking both ways before nearly being run down by the iconic yellow NYC cabs? No thank you. I think that this one is definitely something that gaming does better than the real world. Entry number 2 is again an example of my ineptitude to travel around at a speed greater than relaxed sloth. I cannot drive, and as I'm partially sighted, this is probably a good thing, both for me and for my prospective victims out there. Thankfully, gaming has me covered, as all I need to do is boot up my copy of Mario Kart, Gran Turismo, or Criterion's excellent Burnout Paradise to drive as badly as I want to, consequence-free. If by some misfortune I manage to wrap my digital Aston Martin around a tree, gaming simply respawns me in a shiny new one in a matter of seconds. Much easier than me having to endure months of painful rehabilitation, forking out large amounts of money for a fresh set of wheels, and adding a few points to my driving licence. Burning my rubber in the digital realm is cheaper, safer, and much more environmentally friendly, so I think I'll stick to the streets of Paradise City and let the pedestrians of Plymouth sleep easily tonight. Now, entry number 3 is something that I hope you don't do at all in real life, as it is one of those things that, while completely acceptable in gaming, is very illegal IRL. Walking into the homes of random strangers and taking their valuables for yourself. This kleptomaniacal cliché is most prevalent in the world of role-playing games, where upon exiting a stretch of wilderness exploration, you, the protagonist, stumble upon a sleepy little village that you proceed to ransack like a horde of Vikings. That pot of savings gold hidden down beside the bedside drawers? Gone. The priceless family heirloom hidden in the basement? Also gone. The small collection of healing potions that were in the kitchen? Gone and sold back to the store from whence they came. You can't help but feel a little bad for the NPCs that reside in these towns and villages, even if their involuntary sacrifices are the price to pay for saving the world. And as for our protagonists with much heavier pockets, well, what exactly do they do with their newly acquired goods? Well, that leads us nicely into entry number 4. And that is the ability to sell absolutely everything they have to the local shops. In many games, it is far too easy to exploit the in-game economy by selling every bit of in-game tat that you pilfer along your exploration of the local caves, dungeon, and abodes. poor Bellathor in the Whiterun General Goods store from Bethesda's fantasy epic Skyrim has over the years had no choice but to give me gold for the following items: wooden cutlery and crockery, pelts from a menagerie of local wildlife, vegetables that I liberated from a nearby farm, a library's worth of Nord poetry, various assorted weaponry, many arrows that I collected being shot in the backside, and at least one witch's head which came without the rest of the witch's body. Now I'm pretty certain that if I was to pop into my local supermarket with any of the above, not only would they be considerably less forthcoming with fiscal compensation, but they would probably be calling local law enforcement. But at least in the Elder Scrolls, I can continue to pad out my wallet with this bizarre bartering. Another bonus that gaming affords us, in a way real life cannot, is the ability to prioritise side quests over the main story. Despite the fact that the fate of the world seemingly is always hanging in the balance, games allow me indefinite hours to spend breeding chocobos, hunting rare materials, grinding out levels and XP, so that when I do eventually decide to tackle the big bad, I'm so ridiculously over-leveled that I squash them faster than you can say final boss. Alas, in the real world, time is an ever-present factor, and side quests such as gaming, holidays, adventures, and in my case Lego buying and building, are forever living in the shadow of the main quest lines of work, sleep, eat, repeat. I can't casually grind out XP in video making as much as I'd like to, because I have a job. Nor can I spend endless hours levelling up my cooking ability because of those pesky social engagements that I can't quite get out of. When it comes to the freedom of time management, gaming wears the crown. Speaking of wearing crowns and other outrageous articles of clothing, gaming never judges me if I decide to dress like an absolute lunatic. Now, I am aware that in the real world I am no one's fashionista. In fact, if you were to look through my wardrobe, you would find almost exclusively ripped jeans and geeky t-shirts. If, however, one day I took complete leave of common sense and decency, and instead I chose to walk around in public wearing what I wear on, say, the streets of Night City from Cyberpunk 2077, it would not be long before either the locals would pelt me with rotten fruit, or I would be taken away by local law enforcement. In games, sometimes there is a method to the madness, as certain outlandish garbs can come imbued with incredible stat boosts and bonus effects, somewhat justifying the choice to dress like a circus clown. In real life, however, there is no such benefit in walking around donned in offensively loud and questionable attire, and thus is a lifestyle choice best left to the digital world and to the Paris fashion shows. Our final entry is one that hopefully requires little explanation as to why it should remain an in-game activity. Murder. Now, obviously unaliving another person is not an okay thing to do, and is universally condemned as the biggest no-no a person can commit. In gaming, however, let's be honest, in most games it is an activity that is both incentivised and encouraged. Thankfully, the large collections of pixels and code that form an NPC don't feel pain, so finding creative and innovative ways of sending them into the digital hereafter come guilt-free. Probably just as well, really, as characters like Hitman 3's Agent 47 would probably be facing a considerable stint at the big house for the litany of fatal interactions they have within the world of their game. The fact that the game is called Hitman should underline the purpose of the game being assassination, and the game certainly delivers on its main gimmick, with several sandbox levels that are filled with creative weapons like the exploding rubber duck, environmental kill spots like cliffs, ledges, and in one level a wine press, or if you prefer a more hands-on approach, you can sneak up on your prey stealthily to give your victim their final neck massage. So for those of you with murderous affinity, save a life and play a game instead. And there we go guys, 7 things gaming lets us get away with which we can't do in real life. What are yours? Comment them down below and let me know. If you did enjoy this video, please do drop it a like, share it and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell to be alerted for whenever we go live with another video. And as always, thank you so much for watching, stay safe, see you bye.